The movie begins with a scene of an apartment which is situated in New York. We see a little boy named Alex who is fond of writing horror stories. But we see that he is very scary and upset, and he wants to burn all of his written stories. His parents were also shocked after seeing his weird behavior. Then they thought that he might be doing this because he likes horror a lot. Then we see Alex is carrying a bag and comes out of his room. He entered a lift because he wanted to go to the boiler room, but the lift got stuck in between the way. He tried to start the lift, but it didn't. But then he suddenly notices that a light is coming from an apartment. He went to check, but he saw that his favorite horror movie was playing on the TV. There was a pumpkin pie on the plate, which was also his favorite. He ate it, but then he collapsed. After a while, when he becomes conscious, he finds himself in a small closet. Then he discovers that the door was locked. Then he sees a cupboard which was full of kids' clothes. Then he tries to find a way to get out of it. He saw a window. He walked towards it and saw his apartment. He tried to call his parents, but he didn't get any response. Then he decided to jump out of the window, and when he jumped, he came into the same apartment. Then the light started blinking, and a scary voice started coming into his ears. The voice was asking Alex's name. He got very scared. Then we see a black shadow in which a witch was hiding. She asked him, "Did you bring anything special?" Alex panicked and didn't understand anything. She then told him that, "Look at these clothes. These are the clothes of those children who were caught by me, but they were no use to me." Then she asked him again, "Did you bring anything special?" Alex told her, "Yes, I can write horror stories." Then he opened his bag and gave her storybooks. Then she said that, "You will tell a new horror story to me every night, and if you don't, then I will kill you." Then we see Alex in a room where a cat has come. She attacks him, and Alex entered into a new room. He saw many dolls there. After this, he moved forward and saw a girl in front of him. Her name was Yasmin. She was also imprisoned by that witch Natasha. Yasmin told him that this is a magical apartment which imprisoned children like us. She also told Natasha to disappear those children who are a waste of her. She warned him to do his tasks on time, otherwise no one can save him. Then she took him to a magical library, which has countless storybooks. Then she told him that I also tell her story every day, and if you want to stay alive, you must tell her story every day. So start writing if you want to save yourself. Then we see Natasha coming from outside. Then the door opens. Alex was watching this. Then he ran towards the door, but then suddenly, a wall was constructed there, and he got hit. Then Natasha also warns him to never try to run. At night, Alex was telling his first story to Natasha. Then Alex notices that Natasha has a blue-collar perfume, and also the doors and walls start shaking. Then Natasha told him to start the story. The story's name was The Playground. In this story, a boy came to a graveyard to meet the soul of his friend, but the other souls tried to stop him. Then suddenly, his friend stopped everyone and helped him. Then they both promised to each other that they will be friends forever. But then Earth started shaking again, and Natasha told him to change the happy ending of the story into a sad one. Then somehow Alex changes the happy ending of the story, and after a sad ending, things become normal. Then Natasha told him that I don't want to hear any happy ending, and also told him to write new stories for her. Then we see Alex was trying to write something new, but he couldn't. Then he starts reading books and finds a message from a girl who was caught by Natasha. And then he also tries to find some hidden messages so that he may get out of this place. Also, he changes the ending of these stories and tells Natasha a new story every night. But Natasha told him that a good story always alludes to reality. Then the next day, Alex again got a message from that girl, but before he could tell it to Yasmin, she told him to help her in cleaning the magical garden. Then they both arrived there. She told him that Natasha makes her magical drinks from this magical garden only. Then a spider came out from the egg, and they both tried to capture it. But then Natasha's cat captures it in a web, but somehow Alex saves it. Then Natasha got very angry and tortured both of them and warned them never to repeat it. And Yasmin gives medicine to Alex, and Alex spreads the medicine on that cat. Here, it is shown that the cat becomes their friend, and maybe it likes them. Alex tells Yasmin, "My stories are about to end. Now we have to escape somehow." On it, Yasmin makes him understand it is not possible, because there are only two ways. One, from where he came, another way is used by Natasha. She used to keep the path's key hidden. Then we see that Alexa was panicked and worried. He says to Yasmin, "Maybe my death is near." Yasmin informs him that Natasha didn't murder the children, but transformed them into dolls. She tells him while showing the dolls that they were my friends, but Natasha made them a doll one by one. Alex notices that the dolls were wearing something, such as a watch, earrings, and a bracelet. Yasmin tells him that they used to wear that in real life. Here, Alex tells her about the unicorn girl. He also shows her the locket drawn by her in a book. They noticed no doll was wearing that locket. It means that the unicorn girl has escaped somehow. In the next scene, they move to the library to find more clues. They discover a recipe for a magical drink in a book that Natasha can sleep with. There was a problem that the drink had a strong smell. Alex hits on an idea to write a story in which Natasha will tell them about removing the smell of the drink. In the next scene, we see that Natasha again puts on that blue perfume, and Alex starts telling his story. He tells her there was a magician who used to keep a monster sleeping all the time with a magical drink. He used to do this to take out the diamonds from its mouth. The liquid used to remove the odor from his magical drink was finished one day. Unwillingly, the magician moves to kill the monster. A girl arrives and claims to be able to remove the odor from your magical drink. That girl puts 2-3 drops of the liquid into the magical drink. Its magic was taken away and the monster did not sleep, and in the end, the magician is defeated by the monster. At the end of the story, Natasha asks Alex, like always, to tell the reality. She tells the name of the real liquid from which the odor of the magical drink can be removed. After hearing it, Alex became happy as their plan was succeeded here. And then, they start working on their mission. Yasmin creates the magical drink after gathering the items from the magical garden. As they mix it into the juice, its color changes. Seeing it, those kids get scared because Natasha was waiting for her food and story. Meanwhile, Alex has no story, and the bottle of the magical drink has also disappeared. Getting scared, Alex also starts telling his story. Natasha snatched his book, and when she notices the empty book, she becomes furious. As she was about to turn them into a doll, she got faint. Meanwhile, the cat arrives. Seeing the bottle in its hand, they understand that it has mixed in Natasha's perfume. They then emerge after obtaining Natasha's key. They notice a forest, but soon Yasmin realizes the trees are not real. They understand that this place is also a part of the apartment. A unicorn attacks them, but they somehow manage to save themselves. Meanwhile, they reach a place where there was a chocolate hut. They faint after eating the chocolates there. And in the next scene, we see waking up Alex, who discovers that Natasha has imprisoned his friend Yasmin and the cat. There, he notices another witch sleeping in the coffin. Natasha arrives and tells all the reality. She told him, "This witch brought me here as a prisoner, and she used to eat the kids. She has eaten all of my friends, and I became her favorite. I succeeded in escaping from here with the help of the magical drink. Reaching home, I noticed my parents weren't there. That's why I returned to this apartment because I had no place to go. From then, I have slept with a real witch and I become the witch." Here, they discover that the unicorn girl was Natasha. The earth again starts shaking, and Natasha tells him the horror stories keeps her asleep. "That's why I used to listen to horror stories from you." She asks Alex to tell a new story immediately, and she says otherwise, we all will be killed. Here, Alex tells his story. Why was he going to burn the horror storybooks of his? He tells he liked writing horror stories, but because of it, the kids made fun of me. My best friend always supported me, and I invited my best friend on my birthday one day. My parents have set the theme of the haunted house, and Alex discovered here that his best friend was also like the others, and he also made fun of him. He insulted Alex and left. Alex told Natasha that I was very upset after this, and I was going to burn my books. After hearing the story, she gets relaxed. Natasha also becomes happy seeing this. Then Alex continues his story. One day, a witch imprisoned me because of those stories. Here, I found Yasmin and the cat as good friends. He says, this has become the best time of my life because of it. Due to the happy ending of the story, the sleeping witch awakes, but Natasha tries to stop her. But the witch was more powerful and hence kills Natasha. Meanwhile, Alex and Yasmin tried to escape. They also took the cat with them. While leaving, Yasmin picks up a bottle of the magical perfume. Then Yasmin sprays the perfume on her and the hidden door appears, from which they came to lift. The witch also comes and attacks them, and after it, they go to the boiler room, but the witch also chases them. The cat also tried to stop her, but it couldn't. Meanwhile, Alex remembers that the witch likes the stories. He starts telling her the story with his empty book, and the witch likes the story because Alex creates suspense in it. At the end of the story, when the witch asks, Alex throws his book into the boiler. To know the ending of the story, the witch also jumps into the boiler and they close the door. The witch gets burnt and dies. Then they move to Alex's home. Alex's parents become happy after seeing him. It was also discovered from the newspaper that Yasmin has also sent to her family. She again comes to meet Alex after some days. She gives him a diary so he will write more stories. The magical apartment is shown in the past credit scene of the movie. We got to know that Natasha is still alive, and with this, the movie ends here. This movie was released in 2021. It got a rating of 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching.